is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're here taking a look at some dance practices from Allday Project. We have Famous and Wicked. I knew the moment I was going to be launching my analysis of what I had from this group, they were going to drop these. So part of me just wished I waited, but then part of me was like, oh, let's make another video for it. So I've already analyzed Wicked, but we can always do an overview of it, but I have not analyzed the dance of Famous. So I'm excited to dive into it. I'm ready. I hope you are. Let's go. This can get your motion sick if we're not careful. Oh! Bailey, ew, girl! Oh! Hey! Ah, here we go. Oh my God. Woo. Oh man. Whew. Oh my God. Well done. Here's the thing. Yes, fully aware Bailey's had an entire career doing choreography, K-pop choreography, the whole slew. And then you have Baby Zoo also on this, choreographically. I think it was caught off guard by how nuanced and isolated and syncopated this was. I think I love the fact that it was kind of like, I'm kind of glad we got to isolate the dance practice because we got to really appreciate what the content is. So we're going from the top. We have a little swoop up with the hip. Everyone did pretty well with holding their own on this, because in order for these types of sequences to work in composition, everybody has to be on the same page on how to execute it. So yes, this camera work, I understand it's all for aesthetic. I was borderline getting motion sick, but that's just, I just get motion sick in general. So don't take my word for it in terms of camera preference. I think I'd say live your life, go for it. That's fine. And also too, because some of the choices, specifically I think was it Tarzan section, where it was panning over to the corner, and then sometimes you do a zoom in on, what was it, Bailey Bailey's duo section too. Like little things like that do help with keeping and standing true to the intention of how you want the choreography shot. So that's why sometimes with dance practices it doesn't bother me too much when we do have a moving cam. Of course I prefer a fixed cam so I can really see what's going on in transition, but we pick our battles, that's fine. So she ended up tracing up in the back and then she flicked her fingers, which I thought was very cute. She brings it around. Nice, not really arm control or anything like that, not hand performance or anything of the like, but I do appreciate that we have a stylized hand. We're being intentional with where it goes. I like the lean out of it also is really nice. Wrist rotation is fun. That's a little figure 8 you do see in hand performance. And then the grab there is nice, hit, click, click. A little interruption there. We're going to give her strobing or ticking. I wouldn't, but I'm going to say interruption of a phrase of movement, just really because of that. There's a little whacking overhead going in there. So I like how she opens it out. Hello, 2 boys. Hello, 2 girls. Welcome to the co-ed group Allday project. I had somebody in my comments ask me if I knew who Card was. Yes, I do. I do know this is not the first co-ed group that's ever existed, and they will not be the last. But they definitely have made a lot of noise from, I'm assuming, it's safe to say, a lot of them have lived careers before even creating this group. And also know I've touched on many different things about the group already from my previous analysis. It's on YouTube already, so you can go dive into that if you want. But yeah, I think they're making a lot of noise because of the label they're in, right? With the co-ed side of it, and also the type of track they're given in the choreography, right? And so it's very interesting how they're being marketed. You know, where they said so themselves. They're like, we want people to think whatever they want. And I'm like, that's a lot of confidence, but also because they've lived careers the way that they have, despite their age, their ability, I said this before and I'll say it again, they don't really come across as rookie energy or like as rookies because of that lived-in spotlight perspective within their respective industries. Right? And so they're gonna have an extra degree of thick skin from the jump, which can be very beneficial in this industry. So I wanted to kind of say that I've already kind of touched on those things. Okay. So I was not expecting this degree of ISOs from the jump. Okay, here we go. Just wanted to say that before we actually like dived in. We have an inverted V, so we do a switch off there. Boom, boom. Nice 90-degree angle on both sides. I like that you have your feature. I don't know I think one's Youngseo and one's Annie, and then Bailey, and then my dude from Trainee A, who's supposed to debut with Trainee A, starts with a W or something, and then Tarzan. So I feel like I kind of got everybody the gist of them. I know like what they do, or like what their industries were. That's funny that I know that more than their actual names, but anyway. So my first feature, her hands are really fun. The crossover is nice. They have their arms. What do they do with their arms? Oh man, the fact I have to have it at 0.75, but also have to switch it. Oh my god. Okay, Bailey, what the heck did you do? Okay, hit the switch, and then we end up using that to create a thread moment out of it. That's cool. They look to the outside. You still have your feature. They end up folding, which helps complement the folds of the guns from earlier. So that's nice. So I like the break it. They take the arms, they pull, and it's a subtle fixed point, meaning that it's locked in a particular part of our space as we move with it. Man, she takes the arms, she places them at the hip. She does more of a legato or body roll travel. Yeah, so they take their arms in, down to match her positioning. And so it's a nice complementary way of matching your feature so she could deviate from it. So then they end up, what is it? Oh man, this is really fun. Okay. So they all shove their torsos over to that stage left side, and then she has her finger. She ends up taking her hand, she folds it over, and then she sends it back to help create subtleties with the heads with everybody else. And then she takes it and brings it up, come on with the head, and then they reset, boom, to the side. So then they pull it in to, it was going to give you the impression of a column, but I don't believe that's the case. We just went from an inverted V to a V, which is what was coming up here. So they drop low. So now she's on her knees. So they're down, and then we come up and up. And then she takes the arm up and then back in. And then it looks like we all have our own choice individual hands. and we just do a rotation with the ball of the foot and the heel, and making that a nice suspension kind of rotation, right? And then they take the arms, they go, oh, they went out in. Yep, out in. And then they end up taking a syncopating da-da-da with the arms. And then we end up folding it in, boom, into this. I know this is your point choreo. This is your point freaking choreo. What? Oh my God, I'm actually impressed that I can make that angle. High five, me. Yeah, so we're here, boom, boom. And then we end up here, here, here. I think we end up going like here, fold it. And then we go in, famous, or you can end up going, I think she said you can go here, famous. Let me take a sip of coffee before we continue. Ooh, goodness, okay. Yeah, so really nicely, then you have Bailey join the chat. She's now coming through, the 2 columns established. So I like how she has a good charisma as she presents. So I like how, boom, we have everybody set. And then with their heads, they shoot up there as well. She goes on floor, they all drop, they're in a squatted position. And then I like how she takes it, rotates, and then she ends up scuffing that foot to the ground. And then she twinkles it in, and then here you go. She goes here, oh God. And it goes here, here, here. Then famous, famous. And then they all send it down whenever she hits all of that. That's cool. So then that's a little bedrock, but notice that we're having our own individual groove about it. So what I'm kind of assuming going into this, you know, groups are known for different things from the jump. A lot of times rookie groups have heavy synchro working in their favor. And then over time, either synchronicity is going to be a component that they're known for, or that's just part of the rookie energy, and then they're going to be known for something else, like self-composition, individuality, performance, live vocals, dance, without having to think about being squeaky clean, like having authenticity of the style that you're representing, stuff like that. So I'm gonna say for this, it's gonna be complex choreographies, right? Where it's crew choreo, or it's just there's no watering down about this, right? And then I'm gonna say individuality of each person, like they're each independent, but they all mesh well together on these projects. It feels very much like that. It's just an ongoing collaboration where each one has their own independent following within, once again, different industries that don't really pertain 100% to K-pop, but it's still really cool to see them all come together and seeing how it works, right? Just like they were talking about, you know, how they all just clicked and it worked well with each other. I just have a lot of questions about the logistics side, as in how long is this going to be, this group? Is it just a project group, or is this a permanent group? I have no idea, but it's so fascinating, right? Just the fact that we're asking these types of questions and being able to touch on these types of things in this way so early in a respective group's career and discography. It's cool. So the shove to the side was really nice, and then we bring the arms, bring the upper body, that torso down, come on with the hips, and then the guys end up pulling with the front of the hips, ladies accent the back of the hips, so that's cool. She drops down, and then you my other ladies, they end up pivoting to the sides, then my guys have their moment there. I want some more, she scuffs it, we ain't even, famous, she turns. That, I think that's a cut. Or it's just a zoom in. I don't know. Anyway, but that was a double pirouette. We love it. She's had studio training growing up when she was really, really young. And then she did more of the industry, commercial work side when she was in her teens going into really early adulthood. Like the fact she's in her early 20s, like, and she's done so much, guys. Like it's really cool. Like I love being able to do this and look at Allday Project because of her. Because this is my way of being able to support somebody that I've really appreciated her growth. And when I tell you that she's one of the few people from the LA scene that has grown up as like a child in that videography, Millennium, Red Room kind of space, she's one of the few that I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, she made it out without getting heavily influenced and corrupted by the wrong people. There are many, many dancers who have just gotten with the wrong crowd. For who she's affiliated herself with over the years, I'm very thankful that she's been able to do what she's done to be on this path. truly. So it's cool. All right, here we go. So now we have Tarzan here. So now we've created a little diamond, which is cool, different levels. So then they end up creating some, what is it? They place the hand down, place the other hand onto the thigh, and then they take the head and push it through and retract it. And then from there, notice that they are traveling forward, to our new forward, which is over to the corner. That's kind of what I'm talking about, where he's intentionally focusing on us. We're in the corner shot. We're not in the front anymore. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, there's a chance that these things are meant to be shot in this way, which is totally fine. Also, this move does look familiar. If you've seen Gnarly by Cat's Eye, this was a move that you saw, but they were coming from the stage right side in doing it. So it's cool. It's subtle, but yeah, that move is totally fine. It's cool. No one owns the move. It's just a transition. It's nice. The turnout of it's nice. Everybody's in. We have a little partnering, mirroring effect in the back. You got Bailey up, and then you got my other girl on the ground. He travels across. Like, I mean, it's cool. He's having a nice charismatic moment. And then, yeah, they're frozen. I have no idea what they were doing, and that's fine. And then they have partying. And then we have a little hype man energy over here. And then how do they start it? Let's see if we can push the guys to the side. Oh, man, I don't know. It's some form of arm. And I like the trace across is also really nice. And I like the mirroring on the other sides. They take it out, da-da-da-da-da, and they drop it low. She has her arms to bring it up. And then we have a nice little pull up. It looks great. And they switch it, boom, very nice and quick to the back. And then we have some dip in the hips. So it's nice and feminine and spicy, right? And then we do a little accent. We saw this in the elevator shot in the music video, so it's nice to get an actual clear shot on this. So they go accent, and I like the shift in directions and the angles. It's really nice. Come on with the elbows with a snap, and then they do a subtle head around. They look, boom, boom, to reset front. She lets it go, and then we have a little pull coming from Bailey to get us to a new spot. And then we have a partner moment, boom, with the pulls. And then we let them go away. Here we go. Here's our moment. So she drops low. I like that she chooses to, what is it? Why can't I think? She does a subtle like partnering moment by touching one of the other girls' like back, like tricep area. It's cool. It's a nice moment out of that. Why did that take me so long to think? I'm so sorry. She says da 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 da. Ugh. That's filthy, Bailey. That is filthy, girl. Ugh, D. The 4 with the head on the base. Love it. Watch that again for the people in the back of the front. Watch. With the reset. Oh, it's so simple, but so freaking effective. I love that part. Okay, out, in, and then she has another moment. So they all sin to the side. Notice it's very similar to my other girl that was taking over that intro. But she's having her moment here, bringing it behind the back. Having another... Instead of doing just a finger of individuality, right? She's making her own choice and sending it around the back to showcase her flexibility, which is cool. So they're doing the same choreo, but it's a different person feature. So how it comes across is presented differently because of how the feature chooses to control their people. That's cool. And I didn't catch it in the first watch, but I was able to process through that now. That's dope. The step together is really nice. So she pulls it in. Come on, flick the hair to the side. They're down. And then she goes put them in their places. And then she goes, subtlety, we love. She rotates it in. And then bum, da da wa, and we ain't even famous. And then here we go, new feature. She walks. And now, it looks like, if I'm assuming, Bailey probably joined in with what Tarzan's doing in order for this to make sense logistically, right? So she walks her spot. Yeah. So she's still walking. They hit the ding, ding, the guitar. Boom. And they send that elbow back, and they have the other arm down the inside of the thigh. They look to the side, and then we do a little toss. And now we have the girls in a column, and then Tarzan pulls in. Boom, 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 boom. Nice little party moment. They're walking in the back. Live your life, ladies. That's called a breather moment. We could kind of see them in the mirror. Here we go. So they're facing back, so she comes up, so now the guys are nice and low. And they go, blah, so they're hitting and melting through her choice. Pulls are nice, and it looks like she caused them to pull. And then they go, the accent. This is really cool. This is isolated. Where they end up doing a little, not even Charleston, but they end up stepping the front to behind. With the ISO is really cool. And then they end up getting pulled to complement her controlling points. So there's a lot of individual controls where everybody is complementing through being controlled, either through the torso or through the head. It's really dope. And they walk. Now here comes our little partner moment. So it goes dance, I like the pull in. It's also nice. Friends, you know, it is bothering me that I can't like offhand who's who. So let me go to the K profiles and just do a little dive so we can actually give them their names for the rest of this. Okay. Woo-chan, Youngso, Annie, Bailey, Tarzan. Got it. Cool. Here we go. Backing it up. Little hip moment was super nice. And she says, boom, accent, tosses it away. So then we have a partner moment, number one. We saw this in the music video, but it's really nice to see it complemented the finger with the head. Then he ends up pulling the break it. I like the breath going in and out, pulling her to the side. He's like, what? I just face it. Hey, I like the fact that if we're a co-ed group, we're not afraid to like touch a shoulder or to like, you know, not look like you can't touch the people that are in your group. You know what I mean? Because, you know, sometimes guys and girls can be like, don't touch me. But I'm saying that this is a decent amount of camaraderie where it doesn't look awkward when we're making physical contact with somebody, both with the ladies and with the guys. So that's something that we get a thumbs up over. That's great. The heel twist on that's really nice. The ball changes are cool. Heel toes are nice. The scoop. Send it around. I like the party. Hey, let's go. We ain't even famous. So I like that the dancers get sent to the floor when the word floor happens. So I like the hands go out and up. And so it's 1 and 2 and then we do a little pivot turn. Come on now. And we take the arms up, send it in. And we on the floor. So the dancers are on the floor. Don't make the members do it. They don't have to. They got dancers now. Then we end up switching it up, which is also nice to come back up. So honestly, the simplest section of the choreography involves the dancers, which is a lot of times, I mean, kind of, yeah, when you have more quantity, in order for it to maintain a certain schema of cleanliness, you have to factor that in. But sometimes you end up having or delegating more complexity to your dancers so the members can take a breather. So I find that fascinating that this is not the most, I mean, it's kind of reversed. I would say another example is, was it P1 Harmony's debut, Siren? They were freaking killing it, and the dancers were just still. So that one I still think about. It was really fun. Anyway, so individuality, let's go. There's your bedrock. I like that we have our arms nice and structured for the dancers. The toss it, the punches are nice. We on the floor. Come on with the hips. Drop it. I want some more. We drop it down. Then we goes pose, 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 pose. And then she goes hit, hit, boom. So she still controls them. We melt out of the way. Here we go. Bailey's time to shine in her dance break. She goes, she rotates it in and out. It honestly feels like, okay, now I can, what is it? It's a weird thing I'm about to use a Naruto reference, but I am. Rock Lee against Gaara, wherever it's okay, sensei, I can take my weights off. And then here she is, up in the BPM, up in the complexity and polyrhythm. So now we're using the dancers, right? Here we go. She hits it, boom, head ISO, switch off. With the shoulders, with the knock, knock. Come on, isolations. We live for it. Then we switch, 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 switch. And then she goes out, in. Another rotation element. I like how they point to the inside. She knocks it, boom, boom. I like that they have the arms. Come on, switch, switch with the balance point. And then she ends up turning out of it, which is cool. And then from there, freaking dive, roll. Nice. So I like the fact whenever she split, it's a straddle. Like, if she just let her legs be straight, that's a straddle split. Like, that's how far down she went. Come on now. She rolls out of it. Nice. She goes, and she pulls it, tosses it down, out, in, and they end up angling. The dancer's assumption, they're complementing those angles. She hits it, boom, gunshot. At the end, everybody does this lingering swing, and Bailey goes and drops it down. Sweet. Like, this is a fantastic choreography. Part of me wishes we had a performance version or there was more of the dance in the music video, because some of this stuff is really, really cool, but also I think there is so much beauty in appreciating it just in isolation here, where we could have missed it cinematically if it was added in the music video. So, whoa, lordy. Okay, so we're going to look at Wicked. Remember, I've already analyzed it, so this one may be more so an overview than anything. But we're still going to appreciate it. Nice. So the common thread with both of them is there's a lot of gunshots and a lot of syncopated bass representation. It's cool, right? Like, I really don't think I need to cover this one again. I mean, we can just kind of let it play and just talk through it. I appreciate that we have opposition between the black and the white. I also know this meant a lot to Keone to choreograph or like set something on this too, because Bailey and Keone and Cheyenne and Mari and Legacy, they go so way back. So I'm like so thankful that we get to just celebrate people being good at their jobs. You know what I mean? Like being really good at choreographing. This is so fun. Yeah, collaboration, mad successful. Yeah. And it added a really nice balance too, because with the first one, Famous is really, really isolated with control points, right? It's really cool. With a track like this, you could very easily run into a similar problem because of what I said. There's an overlap in certain, we're going to call them timbres, certain sound contexts that you heard in the first one that you're hearing here. But what was nice, though, is there was different grooves in play, and I think part of it comes from Keone's involvement, but also part of it comes from there's other timbres and other tonal colors, instruments that enhance this track in a different way than what Famous was showing. The dancers are being used a little bit more here in framework, which I think is cool. I also think the first track catered a lot to Bailey. This one caters a lot to Tarzan, and I think to Annie too, right? But what I've said before, and I will say here, I really do like the fact that everyone has like dense line distribution. It's not chopped up every syllable or every phrase. It's like you get to hear them make a complete sentence or two, you know, a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph before we move on to somebody else. And that's low-key refreshing. It's nice, you know. Now, of course, if you have a group like 17 where you have 11 of them, right, or you have 13 of them, because, you know, we have some in our military service, so now the number's going to fluctuate for the next few years. That's okay. We can still appreciate them. The line distribution is going to feel different when you have them in a unit group of 4 or 5 or 3 in comparison to when the full lineup is present, right? So I understand that, but it is really nice. Hopefully this will promote some inspiration for other groups that are around this size to for these companies to give them more lines, more love, right? So that Wicked, I do like this Wicked, it's a fun little motion out of it. So it's not like a straight up W, it's nuanced, it's a vibe. Wicked low-key gives a subtle little baby horn too. The knocks are cool to swings. This is not simple. So yeah, talking to me like that, like the enclosure of the arms there. And then we have everybody still moving and acting, a lot of environmental posing, which works well. That's something that is a fingerprint that we did notice from the last track as well. So these are very, very similar, but they are just different enough. I'm truly curious. That section, like I said, was life feet. I'm so curious about what our discography and what our choreography is going to reflect within it. Because I can see as something that is just to be mindful of, is I'm fully aware of Bailey's movement quality, and I know she's going to be involved in every freaking choreography, as she should. And so far, we have Baby Zoo as a heavy contributor as well. Of course, we got Keone on it. So we may see him pop in and out over time as well. I could low-key see Sean, Lou get thrown in the mix in some way in the future too. But my point, though, is there's so many preference of movement that Bailey has brought. And you can tell a Bailey choreo because of her fingerprints and her signatures and her creative perspective on a track. It doesn't take away from the complexity, the polyrhythms, or the character of it, but because of the industry that we're operating in, we always want to approach things not in the same predictable way, because then it can come across more stagnated, and people tend to like breath of fresh air but still something similar. So that's what I'm really curious about here is, are we going to stay this path, or are we going to deviate and explore other realms, therefore able to see Bailey's choreography with different timbres, different tonal colors, different syncopation choices, different absence of bass, or the bass is heavily modified to something else. Yes, I know she can choreograph to different stuff, but my point though is because we're on a brand now and this sound is a certain type of discography we're operating in, it just makes me curious, right? And I think that's absolutely okay. It's not even a no, it's just an observation. The knock-knocks are nice, so I do appreciate the timing, the patience in some of our choices. The subtlety is also nice on these. That wicked. I love me a good shoulder ISO. It's so fun. Wicked, wicked. And also, I'm just shocked that Bailey can live her life with her hair like that. I wish I could have that type of confidence. So drop down. And then you have the dancers. Yeah, so we've seen a repeat there of how the dancers have squatted low. Once again, not a problem, just an observation. The toss is cool. Notice we've immediately upped the complexity here. We went from more charisma and going off of wordplay and how we adjust our rap to we're focusing heavy on the dance. And I do know this, with Allday project, they tend to lean into Bailey as their dance teacher. I bet you Bailey leans into some of the guys like Wuchan into rap. Like, I can see everybody really compliment each other in terms of areas where they get to grow in ways they wouldn't have if they weren't all paired up. So I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, da-da-da-da. She's freaking hit everything. Goodness gracious. I love the subtlety on that. Gosh, and she went, how about that hurt? But, like, the fact that she just casually walks away and then just immediately jumps back in. That's something that she's done in Famous, and she did it here. Pa, pa, pa. Gosh. Take your shot. I swear, if I wasn't going out of town and being gone for as long as I'm going to be gone, like, yo, I'd so learn this. This is fun. Subtlety. Photo shoot. Gosh. Yeah, the drop down is fun. Hey. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Come on now. Little Medusa moment. It is interesting that we chose Medusa in that way, but also we did choose different angles, which makes sense because of the wildness of her hair. When we pull him. I like his jacket a lot. So I like the boom, the bass. I didn't clock the arm that helped present the leg, so that was a cool moment there. Let's go. And then you have a little control moment. Whoa, 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 recognizing the sounds. That's something that I am appreciating about the choreography on both tracks. And we are recognizing the sounds when they deviate or interrupt. They're cool. Through movement. This is cool. Yep, they hit it from the side. Lights, camera, action. Pa, pa, pa. Knock it up. Doom, doom, doom. Like that mess right there. I think we can actually touch on that. Let me put a 0.75. That's syncopated out the freaking wazoo. Look at this. So they said it, boom, doo doo doom, and they knock it. Then they hit it. Oh God. Then they freaking send it up, out, and they hit it and take the shot. Like, guys, the fact I had to go 0.75 and still have to go back. Oh Lord. That's so fun. It's fun for me. The pow, 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 subtle, gestural. They go slap it, flick it, do-do-do. They're all down on the ground. They're there living their lives. I really like the fact that we're wearing contrasting colors for each dance practice. That's fun. We're here for it. And it's all black and white. I live my life in black and white. That's super, super cool. I am glad these exist. Thank you for releasing them. Yes, of course, like I said, I wish I would have looked at all of it in one go, but part of me is also glad that I got to take a day and then relook at them in this way, because then we get to really appreciate the different, composition, overall choices, and kind of like touch on some things we've already touched on. And also keep in mind too, of course, there's been many different conversations involving this group. I touched on a few of those things that you guys may be, wanting to ask in terms of, like outfits or hair or backgrounds, that kind of stuff. I touched on that in the initial analysis, which is why I didn't touch on it here, because I didn't want to speak redundantly. I wanted to focus on the dance. If that makes sense. So anyway, you guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.